We are certainly a blessed community with great leadership at all levels. I know for me, every day at City Hall, I am blessed with an unbelievable team of dedicated professional staff. I am a direct reflection of their brilliance and their dedication to the people of the community. My department heads and senior staff could certainly make a lot more money doing other things, but they choose to serve all of us. And I would ask that our department heads who are here, if you would please stand and let us recognize you for your service. Thank you. And I also want to reinforce what Mayor Herndon said about the City Council. I am the most fortunate mayor in Alabama because I have a City Council that is committed to the entire community. It doesn't mean that we always agree, but there's always this feeling that Tuscaloosa comes before everything. And we were not going to let any one issue divide us, because there's nothing greater than serving something larger than yourself. And so I want to thank all of our City Council members here tonight. You do an amazing job serving our city. But now to where's our city going? I was thinking back yesterday as we were presenting our budget that 8 of the 10 budgets that I've presented to the City Council have either been in the shadows of the Great Recession or they've been influenced by the impact of April 27th. And so rarely during my time in office have we had opportunities to overcome these tremendous challenges. Challenges in many cases would swallow some municipalities. But in Tuscaloosa's case, I will argue that we are stronger today than we were when those events began. And I really believe our future is absolutely vibrant, and what's coming over the horizon is going to continue to improve the quality of life. Yesterday we presented our budget to the City Council, and as in many of your businesses and many of your organizations, there are certainly going to be challenges. For us, our revenue growth will not be able to meet all the requests that we receive from respective departments and agencies. Internet sales continue to erode. In fact, if you assume the Department of Revenue's number of 5% of internet sales eroding sales taxes, for the city of Tuscaloosa, that's over $5 million annually. Those are real dollars that can be invested into our agencies, into police, into fire, to road paving, to all those things you count on us delivering. In our budget, we certainly wanted to address the critical need of technology, data security, data analysis, GIS, and also improve our fire and rescue fleet. For years, we have not been able to upgrade that. In large part, it's just such large costs that come with supporting your fire and rescue departments. Last night, we presented a $139.3 million general fund budget and a $48.1 million water and sewer budget. Now, the city is very fortunate. We have had to cash flow over $40 million since the tornado itself. We took on this challenge without having to raise taxes or borrow money. We never missed a payroll. We never missed a check to a vendor. We were able to continue the operations in the other 87.5% of the city that wasn't impacted by the tornado, in large part because of the financial strength of our city. And you can see today, even through it all, we continue to have strong reserves. Now, as we look at the budget itself, many things that come into our budget are special revenues, and they're designed for a specific purpose. A large amount of that is what we call DR money, disaster recovery, that we receive through HUD to do special projects within the recovery zone of Tuscaloosa. When you look at the discretionary dollars, this is the available funding that we have to invest into more road projects in our fire department and the 16 other disciplines across the city, plus our agencies. Our growth this year is an estimated $2.8 million. That really doesn't get you a long way. In fact, a 1.7% COLA for our employees eats up $1.6 million of that alone. So I think it gives you an idea of the challenges that we continue to face in terms of delivery of services to the public at a high level. So why is that? Well, for us, sales taxes are where we butter our bread. In fact, when you look at city sales taxes, 40% of our discretionary revenues come from city sales taxes. Now, the chart that I'm going to show you here shows where Tuscaloosa ranks among the 20 most populated cities in Alabama. In fact, you can see we're at the bottom. And that gives you an example of why we face many of the challenges that we have at the city and delivery of services. Now, what I really want to show you, though, is where the rubber meets the road. So let me give you an example of how do we compare to other cities. So let's say we had Mobile's tax rate. If we had the city of Mobile's tax rate in this year's budget, we would have an extra $53.4 million in our budget. If we had Huntsville's sales tax rate, we would have $44.5 million additional dollars in our budget. If we had Auburn's tax rate, $35.6 million. You shouldn't let Auburn beat you, by the way, like this. Montgomery, if we had Montgomery's sales tax rate, we would have an additional $26.7 million in our budget. And if we had Hoover's tax rate, we would have $17.8 million in our budget. So the reason why I wanted to share that with you is think about all we've been able to do with the city. And all this community has been able to accomplish it. And we've done it by living within our means. And we have done it responsible. And I hope you take a great amount of pride in the fiscal discipline that we try to exercise every single day at the city of Tuscaloosa. One of the reasons why this budget is able to create even more progress is because of the work of Northport, the county, our legislative delegation, in redistributing the existing countywide sales tax. Under our current tax structure, which is set to expire on June 1st, 2016, the 2% countywide sales tax and the 1% temporary sales tax will become blended together to create a countywide 3-cent sales tax. Now, the city's share of that is going to drop from 25% down to 19%. And many, like the county and several others, are going to see a decrease. But it will have the net effect of generating additional dollars in our budget. The other positive for you in this community, and this was House Bill 600 that the news did a great job of reporting, but quite frankly got very little attention. The passage of this bill is going to mean over the next 10 to 15 years, you're going to see major road improvements to McFarland Boulevard, Martin Luther King Jack Warner Parkway, Highway 69 South, and the extension and improvements of McWright's Ferry Road. This sweeping legislation will have the opportunity to truly transform our infrastructure. In addition to that, for the city, it's going to generate an additional $589,000 in this year's budget, which we're recommending to put towards vehicle purchases. And in 2017, we estimate a $2.3 million additional impact. Now, it's no secret that over the last few years, the city has gotten behind on its ability to invest in infrastructure, in large part because of the April 27th tornado. The way the city funds its infrastructure is by taking annual year surpluses and putting them into our capital funds. The tornado itself has eroded much of that funding and has caused us to delay. Most of you would make the same decision if you had an area of your business that was in distress. We had to do the same, but we need to get caught up. So we're going to be recommending to the council that 70% of the $2.3 million go into infrastructure projects and 30% go into needed vehicle purchases across the city of Tuscaloosa. Good is the enemy of great. Every day at the city, we try to live by this. Right now, we see so much debate in D.C. and Montgomery about government, and should it be big government or less government. But quite frankly, I think what you want is effective government. And I can assure you that is something that burns within me every single day that I go to work. What can we do with the city to be great in our operations across 17 different disciplines? So this year to the City Council, we're going to be recommending a series of changes that I believe can elevate what we do every single day. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this slide is it really struck me recently when news reports came out that Coach Saban asked the former offensive coordinator of Ohio State, who's now the head coach of Houston, to come in and meet with his team to dissect what happened during the semifinal playoff game. Now think about what Alabama's been able to accomplish. Last year they go to the first college playoff. Coach Saban himself has been part of 4 national championship teams, 3 here at the university. And yet he is willing to go out and bring someone else in to help his organization get it better. I believe you as taxpayers should demand of all of us the same sort of desire and passion in how we approach services. And we have been doing that over the past year at the city, looking exactly what we do, how we do it, and how we can then elevate it to make your investment of taxpayers' dollars even better. Now at the city, we have 6 core beliefs. These are 2 of the 6 core beliefs that we're pointing to in this robust and comprehensive effort. We also have so many opportunities on the horizon that if we're not prepared for, we're going to lose those opportunities, and our city is not going to be able to leverage that for a better future. So how do we seize this moment in history? I believe if we're going to be a great 21st century American city, we've got to do 2 things better at City Hall. Number 1, we've got to have integrated technology across multiple disciplines, and we've also had to have an integrated organizational structure that can deliver those services. Now what I mean by that is becoming a data-driven city. And data-driven cities do 3 things especially well. Number 1, they're able to measure their data, they're able to organize their data, and then they're able to share their data. I hate to report to you that we do none of these 3 things very well at the city. We have very good pockets of this, but across City Hall, it's not to the level that you would expect of us. We're going to get to that level. So how are we going to do it? We're going to invest first in expanding and enhancing our technology infrastructure. Now, as I told the council last night, you don't get elected by saying, you know, we're going to improve data integration at City Hall. People in your districts don't send you to City Hall for that. Yet it's absolutely critical if we're going to deliver the type of services you demand of us. We're also going to be adding additional employees with expertise both in GIS, data analysis, and data security. And then you're going to continue to see in upcoming budgets investments into software and to other technology capabilities so that we can complete the type of integration necessary to be a data-driven city. Now, many of you think of this when you think of City Hall, a wall, or maybe you think of this, a silo. And that is because the city itself is divided into 17 separate departments. We're an amazing confederacy that exists right now in terms of our organizational structure. And if you look at it, this is how we're organized on a day-to-day basis. So it's no wonder that when you come in and you needed a building permit for this, but we didn't tell you you needed to go to the revenue office for that, because the person in inspections didn't think to tell you about what you needed in revenue, and the person in revenue didn't think to tell you what you needed in water and sewer, and the person in water and sewer failed to mention to you the problem about, did you get the fire inspector to see where you need a hydrant for this project? I can see a lot of people nodding. That is not acceptable for a great American city like Tuscaloosa. And so in this year's budget, we're going to be moving forward with a recommendation to the council to change our organization structure, especially as it relates to our public services, our infrastructure, and our business development. We have had a great working relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. We have been engaged both internally as a staff, and we've been looking at other cities that are doing this at a very high level, like Huntsville, Asheville, Spokane, Washington, and even Auburn. So our timeline is to have a recommendation before our City Council by the end of this calendar year. This is designed to let you know not so much of what we've done, but about what are we going to do. And at the City of Tuscaloosa, we certainly are not perfect, but I want you to know every day we are striving for perfection. And in the days, months, and this year to come, we're going to be working extremely hard to make sure that the investment that you give us with your tax dollars, that we spend it wisely and that we maximize it to create a greater and better community. I appreciate all of you for allowing me the opportunity to be your mayor. It is certainly an honor and a privilege, and I hope you can see after 10 years, I am still fired up about Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Thank you very much.